So we're in a crisis, but we're in a long-term crisis. We're in the long emergency. And I want to talk about my philosophy on prepping and just where I come from, I guess I could talk about. Um, I've been on survivalist boards for a while. I mean, I've never posted. I'm a lurker. I just lurk in them. I lurk in the shadows. Um, and that's turned to really a white supremacist stuff. Like I heard someone talk about how why would you want to pick anything other than a Celtic woman? That's inferior and just real racist stuff. They're like Klan on there, but they have something. Jerry D. Young, he writes stories, and I follow that stuff. My favorite is Leonard Dobbs. I'm not Leonard Dobbs, but driving trucks for years of my life, that story made sense to me. My story is Scavenger. Yeah. Scavenger, there's another one, High Tech or Highlight or something. Yeah, Scavenger is a dude. He's like me. He's introverted, doesn't have a lot of friends, and he gets bullied by somebody who's his neighbor, who wants to. Basically, they're in the same situation, but the guy spends his money on stupid stuff, and the main character is like actually a prepper, like I am. Like I'm not, like I don't have guns to go out and intimidate people. I prep. Guns are to protect me. Whereas the dude he hangs out with's got all this like money that he spends on guns and his truck and to show off. And he's like, if something happens, I'll just steal. I'll take with my gun. Yeah. And he ends up doing that. But it doesn't. It's a good story because it starts with a disaster, which is something that I would prepare for. It starts with a chlorine gas leak. I don't know if it's a truck or a train wreck, and he's able to help people get to the hospital. And he's got equipment. He's got a mask and everything. And they're like, "Are you a cop?" He's like, "No, I'm not. I'm the private citizen." And they look at him weird. That's my story, Scavenger. And I think he had like apartments that he set up, and he put his preps underneath in the basement. And like after the disaster, he went to each one of them and was like, "I don't want to take nothing from you. I want you to just pay me stuff." And he'll come around every couple of months. He talked to me. It's a good story. Good story. But both of those stories, Leonard Dobbs and Scavenger, are not about zombies. The point I'm trying to get you to understand is that I've never been this zombie guy. I've seen Night of the Living Dead, when I was a kid. I've seen a couple other ones. I did not like the Walking Dead. I never liked that show. I never liked it. Ever. I never liked it. Because I felt like, and I still feel like, shows like that fictionalize a disaster. And for one thing, also, I think that's white boy stuff. Like, they want to go out and shoot a bunch of people, get up on the roof with a machine gun. That's what they want. I don't want to go out and kill anybody. It's for self-defense. Like, I'm going to do things to avoid conflict. I got real talk. My gun isn't like, I'm going to go out here and threaten somebody. Like, dude, my hope is no one even knows I have a gun. Until it's time. If if you're looking, you're gonna see it. You're gonna. I'm sure I'm gonna miss some things, but the average person is not gonna see me carry a gun. The average person is not gonna know what I have because I'm not gonna tell. I've had people cuss me out. I'm in the car and I got a gun on me. I'm the nice guy in the world. You'll never know. I'm not. Man, I got a fucking gun. No. That's. But I never liked that. I never liked the zombie movies because the zombie movies feed into that. This white boy, we're gonna go out and kill a bunch of people. No, like there's what's that show? I Am Legend. The movie I Am Legend. That's okay. I like that because it's the only black survivalist movie there is. Like 20 years from now, I Am Legend will be the only black survivalist movie. Obviously, it's not realistic. I'm not talking about the zombies. It's not realistic because I don't think you're able to live in a city for that long. I think you're going to have mutations. I think you're going to have stuff will start breaking down. I think you're going to have You're gonna have some of those buildings are gonna get like water damage. Um, the gas will be able to pump. I mean, the movie, like I said, it's I like because it's black prepper. Sue me. 20 years from now, that'll be the only movie you see with a black prepper. Period. Black folks don't do that. And he wasn't a prepper. He was a doctor. Yeah, he was a doctor, and he just was, a doctor that was surviving. That's why he had the AR-15. People talk about how, if there's no one else in the world, what was having an AR-15? I wouldn't have an AR-15. Hell no, I wouldn't. I'd have like one of them Israeli guns. I'd have like a street sweeper. I've said it before. That part with a dog running the building, I ain't running the building. See, look. I'm the dude that's gonna have gas. Like, I'm gonna have military gas mask, police equipment. I'm gonna shoot gas into every room on that floor. You fire one bullet, I'm gonna shoot gas into every building, into every room. I'm gonna, like, what's that thing Dallas SWAT got? Like it's really, really heavy gas. Yeah, I'm gonna have stuff like that. I'm gonna have explosives around my house. I'm not going to go out. I'm not trying to fight you person to person. I'm trying to put force multipliers out there, and that's the part I didn't think was realistic. Like, dude, and he was military. Like, dude, I'm not gonna use a fucking M16 rifle. Exactly, dude. I'm gonna have like, you know what I mean? Like, no, AR-15 is getting off subject. I just don't like those movies because they feed into the zombie part of it. And for me, looking at prepping, if you would go back and ask me before I turned on things and stopped being a libertarian, if you asked me about how I feel about prepping, I would tell you I see a lot of poor women, hungry children. That was the future I would have told you. I feel the same way in 2020 that I would have told you I felt back in 2012, 2013. Well, I was poor then, but even 2010. I see a lot of people that are going to really fall short, and things have gotten harder than they were back then for a lot of people. I feel like, there's different opinions. Some people could say that at least gets you thinking about survivalism, but to me, my thought would always be psychopathic people and people who are already not running on all cylinders out here. Okay? Think about crimes you see out here on a regular basis. And now there's no police checkpoints. There's no police database. You see what I'm saying? And they're out here moving around in the dark. That's what I thought about. But this idea of zombies, no, man. A lot of folks are going to be out here scraping to get by and just scared and terrified, doing what they can to survive. You understand? And the government going to have ulterior motives as well. Okay? So I that was my viewpoint on it. And you're going to have doomsday people. Like, when you talk about a crisis where we're talking about without rule of law. We're not talking about Katrina. We're not talking about Sandy. We're talking about EMP. No trucks, no vehicles. Really, the police ain't going to be out. I'm talking about without rule of law, where it's just fighting the streets. If that happened, these crazy people, these gangs that pop up, you're going to deal with severe crises of people not obeying the government authorities, civil authorities. And the government authorities are going to have to decide what to do with that. I think with these different... Ooh, that was some light now outside. With these different protests and running up on doctors and running up on them and doctors, Dr. Fauci getting threats and stuff, I think that is a part of that. That is a part of what we're seeing. What I'm saying is this: we're in an existential crisis with the pandemic, but we're also going to have some severe economic difficulties in the coming months. Okay, and maybe a famine. Okay. Those doomsday cults that they talked about on survivalist boards back in the day, that's what we're facing. It's not that bad. They're not running around with no clothes on eating people. Okay, we're not. They're not that. But this is what that is. Those people who are like, no, fuck it, we ain't cooperate with the government. We're gonna go out here armed, deadly to the teeth. We're gonna threaten doctors. We're gonna block the hospitals. Like, that's the kind of people I expected. And if you were to go back to me in 2010, 2012 and be like, wow, you surprised by that? Well, I would have been somewhat surprised. I mean, you had the Tea Party movement, but I never thought I'd see white people just doing that. Like, every crisis, anytime the American government puts any kind of restriction out, you have this. Whether it was Charlottesville, Charlottesville was them talking about taking down the Confederate statue. That's all it was. Whether it's, these current regulations about wearing masks, anything, because I think they're spoiling for civil war. That's really what it comes down to. White people feel like they're the center of the universe, and any obstruction of life to them is an insult, because they want bigger everything. They don't want anything to slow down. They're not going to tolerate it. You okay? It's kind of weird. I'm in the dark and that lightning is creepy. Yeah, but I would just say that the doomsday cults, the crazies that you see in any survivalist book, that's what we're looking at. Like that's what we're dealing with